welcome back to ESL One Katowice 2018. We are ready to get into the draft. In fact, the boys have already started the draft because they were just like, we're getting on with it. We're going to start right now. We don't care about you TV people. So they've gone in and they've got going. So we'll get you into the draft right away. And we are just a couple of picks in.
That
on
sounds
both
like
sides.
every single pre-game lobby. Every single time there's a delay.
Exactly.
That sounds exactly what's happening in the pre-game lobby chat.
It does, yeah.
I don't care. I'm going without casters.
So we are on the way. I can't blame them. I can't blame them. But we're underway. Mineski with a couple of picks already and Virtus.pro. What have you made so far?
Who's first pick? It would be... Okay. Mineski, right? Mineski's first pick?
I'm trying to do this backward engineering stuff.
It's not working right now for me.
No. So if they've just banned one and they
Yes, it would be Mineski first
ban
pick,
one,
right?
it would be Mineski.
I forget the ban order.
It would be Mineski's first pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm pretty sure. So they take the Night Stalker. So they're right away. They're showing. They're sticking with their guns.
They're one of the few teams that still go to that first phase Night Stalker. Yep.
Yeah, it's SEA special, right? TNC did it a couple times. Execration, etc., etc. I covered a lot of SEA
And
games.
once again, we're going to get to see this first phase gyrocopter. What were you? So I listened to the cast obviously, but what were your overall opinions on gyro in the last series? Because you got taken first phase each game and really struggled all through games.
I was really impressed with the way Fenrir played around that gyro. He just was in his face.
Oh,
and
he had a great series.
It wasn't even just about like the laning phase. Sure, he put a lot of pressure, but in later on stages, we didn't see it the second game, but the Enfeeble just broke the hero. He was flacking for 20 damage.
Did
in
it
team
not
fights.
lose all 3 games?
Yes.
It did, didn't it? In
Yes.
that series, yeah. Okay. Good run.
A Warlock!
A Warlock.
My
Don't
goodness.
see many of those.
Solo's
apart from
dancing.
apart from Virtus.pro.
Solo's dancing too.
And complexity.
That's the symbol of him throwing
And
fatal
that.
bonds on multiple heroes for the black
Oh.
cannon shots.
This is
I really like the brew.
the Ice Brew.
Yes.
So these are, I'm already seeing in-your-face heroes, right? Night Stalker Brew, get in the face of the gyrocopter.
Just there, kind of.
I just hope
Geek.
at some point in this series, I hope we get to see Moon Marana, because that is
This could be
that
it.
is utterly unique.
Yeah,
It's,
could be this one.
They do it with Brewmaster with
They
the
do?
lift. and
Yes,
they drop him
into the arrow.
Into the arrow. Yeah.
that's
they do
why.
that.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned it. It's Ice has had this at a couple times in the past. When you think about when he used to play Core Phoenix, where he just, it looks like a different hero in his hands than it does anybody else in the world. And I think Moon is at that level on his Marana, where it just, Core Marana looks viable when he's playing it.
It's the way they play.
He's the
Exactly.
only,
No,
really,
exactly.
Yeah,
It
it's all
is.
about the way
and
It
he's
is.
the only one that makes it look viable, really, isn't he?
Right now, yes. I would go so far as yeah.
I haven't seen another player play like Marana since I think mid-1 playing the Ethereal Blade Aghanims Marana versus some Sniper
Yeah.
ages ago.
Whoa.
That was
They're-
a long while back too.
They're 6-0 on it since January 1st on his Marana.
So they've got the Brew versus Warlock, so you can, throw your Dispel on the
Yeah.
Inferno. It does a good chunk of damage versus that one. And I think they're also trying to control a bit of that team fight. Because with their first 2 picks, their team fight is super lackluster. Then they look at VPs, they see these 3 massive team fighters. They have to be able to address that. Like we said, I think Will, you guys all were bringing up on the panel too earlier, you have to be able to take fights at some point in this meta.
Yeah.
Mineski right now 8-1 since 707 when picking Night Stalker.
It's just a comfort hero for them as it is across the region.
They played the entire Vision game as well as the pickup potential really well around the Night Stalker. I think that's why they're so successful, is that it's a very skirmish-focused hero.
Yeah.
There is like a lot of single target kind of focus here from Mineski. There are definitely some abusable heroes for VP that they could pick up.
Okay.
Yeah, Omni's been getting left a lot of times. They pick the Omni into the Brew.
Yeah.
The Brew, we've seen a lot of times, the Dispel versus the Guardian Angel. You lift them up in the team fights too, can be very strong, but I think the way they want to play around it is just letting Gyro be a little bit more greedy with his item build and just throw the repels on him in the fights.
10 seconds
And
remaining.
Pasha on Omnis. One of his jams.
5 seconds remaining.
It does mean that we're going to have a 4-position Sand King, which does open up that Nana/Moon Marana a lot more. Whenever you have like one of these poor gankers, Marana looks a lot better, just because you can't be interfered with in the laning phase whatsoever.
I do think now they want more AoE like magic damage on Mineski somehow, some way, versus this Omni Knight. They want to be able to match this team fight a bit. So yeah,
What do you think?
like you're saying,
SF?
I believe it's banned. Yeah, it's banned.
Oh, they did. Okay. Yeah. I have a problem with the dark hero portraits.
Yeah,
on this.
I mean that one you can barely even see, to be honest.
Okay.
That's
OD works.
with
OD
glasses.
works too. But I guess that's tricky against Omni.
You could do another Razor game. Honestly, just put it up safe lane against Omni Knight. You're running into a gyrocopter as well.
Yeah.
Virtus.pro's
Okay.
turn to battle.
That's it's one of the first heroes that they started going to on Mushi when they wanted to make the shift to a higher tempo.
I like Lifestealer and Juggernaut as cores versus Gyrocopter
Yeah.
in majority of the games. It's versus a Omni, or it's versus the Omni Knight this time, so you can see why they're put off a bit if they wanted to do the Jug.
10 seconds remaining.
Doesn't feel too
5
good against that
seconds
Omni
remaining.
Knight though.
It's not,
Yeah,
it's not the
that's-
greatest. No,
No.
definitely not.
Certainly not. And especially since you're focusing a lot on this gyrocopter, but you have to know that VP are going to be running like their harder carry in the mid. So you can't zone in too much on this gyro just yet.
So you should probably ban Puck if you're VP, right? Even if it's the single core Lifestealer, like we said, that gives them the infest combo,
Yeah,
and
it does.
I mean, it's Moon on the Puck. It's most comfortable.
That is, I think it's always the Lifestealer wombo combos that I feel most comfortable with when you're talking about like single core because
Okay.
execution is so high.
They ban out the Storm, so that one's
Yeah.
in case like they were looking at Mineski going for more scaling. That makes sense.
I would think about banning the Brood as Mineski. I don't think you have a great solution to deal with it, and Ramses is 6-0 on it since January 1st.
5 seconds.
I always forget
remaining.
about Broodmother. I feel like I see it so often
Well,
banned in the
that's-
4th, 5th.
yeah.
It's just one of those heroes.
Broodmother is like it's a forget about it hero. That's when you get
That's
when
when
you
you
get
get
caught.
taken advantage of.
VP might be with that Storm ban. Like the one thing is there are plenty of carriers, right? There's Puck, there's Quap as well. There are plenty of carriers for the Lifestealer, but
Right.
the Storm Spirit is sort of that later game scaling core. So maybe they're trying to kind of box Mineski in to more of an early game pickup with a single core Lifestealer sort of setup, and they're going to pick themselves like that harder sort of carry like Medusa.
Oh, I think if
User
Mineski, I think if Mineski Puck
Yeah.
you TA. Like no one TA against against a Puck. I think would
Lifestealer.
crush.
People have been talking about TA again now. People were like, for a while they were like, this hero's kind of dead, and then I like this sniper ban too.
It's been used
Very
twice.
I
today.
agree.
I think this is kind of a
Okay.
steal play.
There's the Brood. There's the Brood. Yeah.
Wow, Naha's on fire.
And it was an insta pick as well.
Yeah,
They
I
already
think
knew.
I think they just knew they were going to do it. What do you think about the Tinker matchup? Tinker at least gives you something, right? I mean, it's not like you're going to run your Spiderlings through Marked though.
If you're playing this, if you end up playing it, what VP want to happen is they want to be able to take that mid tower as early as possible,
Right.
start spreading those brood webs over the Radiant like offlane jungle area, and over the other part of the Radiant jungle, and really limit this Tinker's ability to take those neutrals, because he always has to abandon his lane to be able to pick up his boots of travel off of those camps,
Right.
right? So you can try and take that mid tower, then in turn you start taking over some of that jungle area. I think VP actually do have kind of the right idea here with this brood.
I agree.
Okay, very quickly, in one word. Which way you going?
VP.
Cap.
VP.
VP.
That's 2 words, but I'll let them off.
Nike.
Virtus.pro gets the clean sweep here on the desk. Let's head over to our commentary team for game number 1 of the semi-final.
See, I'm fairly certain that was a trick question by Paul, because Mineski is the only one-word team they could have answered back with. So he already knew what they're going to say. I know we were having a bit of a discussion before as well, like, who do you think actually has the advantage here? You like, think about Mineski, think about VP, think about the drafts, think more than maybe the panel have in that short span of time. What do you think?
I don't know, because I was asked that before the draft.
And
Completed.
now you see the Broodmother pick up for Virtus.pro with no easy direct counter.
I mean, Brood always scares me as a hero. You see Broodmother on the other side, and it's just like, it's frightening.
Yep.
But
Like, how do you even deal with this? At least it doesn't seem to be that bad when you... I say when you think about the supports of Mineski, but Witch Doctor, that's not a happy life for him against that Broodmother at all.
he hates that.
Yeah.
You would think that it would be okay, because it's like, oh, well, I'm going to cast a bunch of targets. No, there's too many.
Yeah. And even the targets, like the targets you cast, then you've got Repel in the middle of all of this, so you've got an extra security that can arrive in from Pasha.
Yeah. Oh,
And what do you think about the Lifestealer pickup as well? The panel were a little bit iffy. Now we see Mushi on that Lifestealer. Do you like him when he has to go one-on-one with an Omni Knight, or potentially two-on-one
No.
up there on the top?
I think it's pretty annoying. And more importantly than that, I think it's supposed to be pretty good against the gyrocopter, because obviously you can get on top of the gyro, just try to blow him up, but it's a bit awkward otherwise. And I cannot stare at that brood set. There is, I don't know what, maybe
what is
somebody
that brood
will
set?
tell me about it, but I get like a weird, creepy, like feeling.
The
30
abdomen of
seconds
the
to go.
abyss. Hang on. Abysm. It's not even abyss, it's abysm.
I don't like that. Not a fan. And,
At least it doesn't look like it's got like the acne riddled back pustule, green
I don't-
pustule ones. That's worse, man.
Hey, get like a tingling, not good feeling as Mineski are
Oh,
gonna.
this is actually a really fun position for them. They're up on the high ground, waiting for Roger to come into their waiting pause. So they just attack him in. You've got already the Maledict level 1, not even going for the stun. They want the tick out, and they're gonna get it. There's nothing that will save Roger. Jabs will get the final hit, and even with the physical attack, bounty runes still being distributed out. So ended up being 3 for Mineski, 1 for Pasha.
That's a huge GPM lead. That's almost like 1K off the bat. That's pretty funny.
Nothing like a bit of injection that goes across the entire map.
Yeah, just start the game off right.
And just supports get more money. This will at least make Jabs happier fighting up on this top lane, because he is going to be supporting Mushi. So you do have like that potential double heal to deal with whatever comes towards the top lane or the harassment that Omni-Knight would be thinking about. What do you actually think about too, like with the rotations of Ninja Buki? Does he make an influence moving off that top lane against heroes like a Broodmother? Ice. Oh,
Look at Roger being a bro for his teammate. Does level the stun. But he might just die.
yeah, he's going to Burrow Strike down. There's no creeps to deny to. Block
Might
the
get
cam
exploited
short,
one more
but
time?
that's 1 point Maledict into the trees. Loop around Ninja Boogie. He'll need one more hit, and he'll get it.
Yeah, that's a significant amount of gold too. And shoutouts to Purge, by the way, who was telling me that he was trying to tell OD Pixel, he's like, just get level 1 Maledict when OD was playing Witch Doctor earlier. He's like, level 1 Maledict will lead you to a lot more kills than you'd expect.
I'm not certain about this from Ice. We always know he loves to push the envelope. Solo, he can't get in range for the secondary Shadow Word. Ice has that movement speed on him with the boots versus no boots.
He's trying to protect the wave though. So when Ice goes up the uphill and he comes back down, that's when Solo will try to get the Shadow Word on him, which is what Ice realizes, and he doesn't go for that.
I'll end up double waving this.
Yeah.
Unless no one can keep it at bay for a while, which he seems to be able to. This never-ending harass, the Solo versus Ice battle. I think we've seen as many taunts as we've seen Shadow Words. This top lane combination, you'd actually think VP would have more fun up here. Burrow Strike into the Purification. Heavy amount of burst damage.
Well, it doesn't help that Rogers died twice already in this lane. We actually haven't seen him in any part of this lane. First blooded almost off the bat and then died trying to drag the creep wave. But it did secure the Omni Knight's levels, is the thing. Like, Pasha got his level 2 off of that early enough.
Yeah. Oh, actually, Pasha coming back over. Unlucky cask bounce for him. Coming down to him. But he'll retreat back out again once more. This mid lane's actually been quite fun. Now that Ramses has his 2-2 up in the build, we're just watching Moon, like, leveling up. He's actually walked all the way back to base. So he's been forced out of the mid lane. He'll TP back in just a bit, but he's been marching the machines underneath the tower. No rearm yet, so he has to be cautious about when he uses it, because that's a 35-second cooldown. Ramses waits it out, and then he's got a ticket to dive the tower on the Tinker.
That's a lot of Broodlings that he's got summoned up to.
Yep.
He's trying to get pretty aggressive here, but unable to do so. Just playing back and forth.
Well, he just knows he can just like sit him back, let him regenerate. What's Moon really going to do against us when March the Machine is down?
Yeah, that's the scary part right now for him, is that whenever he does spam the March of the Machines, Ramses is a lot more hesitant to play aggressive, but all he has to do is kind of fake the aggression. You run at the Tinker thinks like, oh, I might get gone on here. I need to pop the March of the Machines.
I think he
Ramses
may
waits
get
it
gone
out.
on right now. He's probably thinking about denying towards the Satyrs. Not going to happen. There's a double stack to the side. Jabs. He can't help. Remember, this Paralyzing Cask will just get caught up inside the Spiderlings, allowing them to move forward and kill off
Jabs
Moon.
is gonna die.
How do you do this? Jabs tried to come and help him out. There's no spawn Spiderlings available, and Ramsey just moved out of range of the webs. But while on the bottom lane, Ice and Solo battle for the runes. Ice will at least claim it. He'll get Shadow Word up. He's got stick charges as well as tangos, so he should be able to survive this. Such a clown, Ice Ice Ice.
Is that his town?
Yeah, that's his taunt.
I don't know why I thought that was Witch Doctors.
It was the dun 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 dun. The Barrel Meister. Yeah, but this mid lane just seems like a wipe. Like, Moon is now a full 2 levels. Well, not a full, a level and a half behind that of the Broodmother. And the Broodmother can just keep slipping in behind the tower, so here we go again. Trying to find the levels in between the tower, and Night Stalker's even rotated over to help him, but the Brood continues the pressure.
So far, so good for Brood. As this Tinker is not having the easiest life. Of course, there will be a time period where the Tinker kind of catches up in this, but for now, it's been pretty rough for him. He's got 3 levels of the Marching Machines. You notice, as soon as it's off cooldown, he immediately hides. Like, Moon is so far behind his tower right now. He is anticipating the dive, does not feel comfortable playing in this lane anymore.
Yeah.
You gotta feel for him right now.
Maybe they can have pressure elsewhere. Seeing Mineski's maneuvering, jabs TP to the tier 1 tower on bottom. Ninja Boogie's done the long range rotation. He's got phase boots coming off cooldown, so they're going to try and attack in. No one as well as Solo. How much life have they got? No one with that Shadow Word regeneration. Hard to kill off. Here comes your Paralyzing Cancel as well as Maledict. They need to follow up with damage. The Rocket Barrage is doing so much. Ninja Boogie wants back out of this one. Into the trees. Solo will find him. Needs 2 attacks. No one will pop to the Maledict. As Jabs, all caught in the trees, Solo and Roger, they're here to help out. Jabs into the trees and Shadow Word on him. Guaranteed tick. Solo claims the double kill. Ice 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 will taunt his way around. Still no death for the offlaner, but he'll sacrifice both of his supports to get what he got.
I think that was actually okay for VP. I guess you lose the gyro, but you further slow down the progression of the supports on the side of Mineski.
As well as Moon.
Yeah.
He TP'd back to base. He's walking back to the mid lane right now.
This is getting so brutal.
Yep.
And that's why they're going to rotate everyone that they have right now, including Ice Ice Ice.
Oh, if they can get the clap off, maybe there's enough slow. The clap will connect, but Moon's too far away. What he can offer is, well, March to the Machines, but he needs to save this. But Ice 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 has an army of Spiderlings right on his tail with the spawn Spiderlings. Ice 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 down to 250.
Dude, look at that. He's actually just 1v4ing them with his brood. With his broodlings. Like, they can't do anything about it.
They're going to smoke. They're coming back again. You at least have Soul Ring up. Well, okay, Open Wounds is useless against an Omni Knight.
They're gonna smoke, try to 4-man him again.
Solo's still nearby. They'll see him thanks to the Observer Ward, but can they loop around the back? Ninja Boogie just had his phase boots go on cooldown, so he doesn't have the movement speed. Ramses runs in close. Solo, well, they run directly into him. They don't want Solo, though, but they'll have to take him. He's what's on offer. The Tinker Rockets will fly forward, so Solo will fall. Moon got none of the experience. He's actually going to die as well. Popping to Ramses. He at least has his level 6 now. Like, small mercy.
Okay, Jabs is going to get gone on now, too, and with the negative armor on him, how many more hits?
Oh, this is going from bad to worse to terrible. As now you
Everyone's
got
just
Ice
seeping out.
Ice, get out of there! He's out. That's a 3-0 Brewmaster, however. Mushi just got a kill on Pasha, which is nice.
Yes.
Ninja Boogie rotates in to help him out, so that's one lane which is going well, but it's going just as well as the Gyrocopter.
That's what I meant by the gyro. Even though you die, you don't feel the death very much. Like, your team's going to be happy that Solo got an early double kill, because that's a hero that really needs the gold early.
Mercy!
Oh my.
Mercy! Roger just walks in through the back, gets the perfect burrow strike, and then Ramsey just walks up and takes it. The best record, 7-0. I think we're looking at an 8-0 if things keep going this way. 100% win rate for the man.
He almost has an Orchid. It's
Okay.
8 minutes in, and he's got the first Oblivion stack. That.
Oh, life is hard. Call down on bottom lane. Ice managed to break into the trees. Solo's coming in from the side too. Ice just stays in the fog of war. Meanwhile, Ninja Boogie gets hunted in the dire jungle.
Roger plus the
Spiderlings.
the hit squad. Look how many he's stacked up.
Way too many. They've got no way to clear it, right? Like Nahaz was calling it. Say like, hey, this hero, potentially, you forget about him. You don't ban him in the second phase of bans. Like, you're going to forget about it, then you're going to get punished.
Yeah, dude.
And this is the ultimate punish.
Nahaz is on fire right now. Professor Zahan. I still disagree with him about the NP stuff, but Nahaz has got the right idea of stuff. As Ramses, he is like 1,500 gold away from getting his Orchid. It's 9 friggin' minutes. He's been untouched.
Yeah. And now he's going to go in deeper. Like, how do you even catch up when you're Mineski? Your Tinker's so far behind, but with this Broodmother's having web control into the closer areas of the dire jungle, you can't even stack for the Tinker to regain the farm.
Yeah. I mean, this is just a really cool idea, too. Like, when you play this Brood,
Now, where are you going, Gabs?
you have such a high amount of regen, the ability to dive. Laser does nothing. Like, normally Laser is the stopper of everything. You try to go on a Tinker, he lasers you, he lays on March. You feel very hesitant to go on top of him. But Brood just swarms.
He's got help, puts down the Sentry Ward with the Maledict as well. That is a level 2, so Roger will be repelled plus purified. Obviously not in that order.
But as a result, like you're still putting a lot of resources up at top to try to slow down this Omni Knight, who, yeah, he dies, but we've already talked about how these one-off deaths don't really matter. It's the fact that mid has done so much economic damage. Like, that Tinker is well below the Omni Knight, and this is a hero, Toby, that thrives on getting a very good laning phase, getting early boots of travel.
They're going to try and slow down Mushi. Bait out the Rage, so Roger, okay, he'll go straight to the Burrow Strike with the Purify. But Mushi starts his TP out, has a lot of one charges, held on to them, as he knew he'd complete the TP under the cover of Rage. But what does Mushi even do? Like, he has to run away from an SK Omni Knight combination. Now ISIS gets wrecked by no one on the bot lane. No TP will save him there. But, like, how do you even rotate? Like, the Lifestealer is your primary net worth hero, but it seems really ineffective in any other lane.
Ramses thought he was going to go for the Orchid, but just as likely that he decides to go for...
Those spiders, they just...
Oh,
it's so
one
much!
more?
It's so much! No, they're out of the webs now. They can't chase in that deep anymore.
Okay. So I shouldn't have second guessed myself. Because I was like, oftentimes you'll see Broods can also go for the Echo Saber, but I think if you get the Orchid at 11 minutes with a soul,
It's
like
coming on the
with a
Kurgan now.
medallion, that's... What do you analyze about that? Whoever steps forward at this point just dies. Look at Moon at top. He's in this position right now where everyone's bullying him around the map just because of how far behind he is. And I think the correct idea now is to sit behind this Brood. I feel like Mineski's going to get desperate at some point and say...
They're rotating around.
Yeah, they're going to say, guys, we have to do something against this Brood.
The Gyro is actually already hiding. Radiant scan looking for some kind of movement around the back of the Broodmother. It doesn't flag. Roger and Solar onto their cover of their own smoke. But everybody is currently hiding apart from this two-man smoke gank. A double damage on Mushi. They'll take to the air, trying to look for no one to also break the trees. They'll get a path in, and now they find no one in the trees. Underneath the tower, TP support not coming in. Gyrocopter, he just wants to get out, and he's able to do so. Ninja Boogie already used the Void. There was no stun to offer.
That was a heavy commitment, and now look at this mid tower. It's taking heavy damage.
This is 12 minutes in.
They don't have Glyph either on the side of Dire for another 3 minutes.
Hey, Tinker has BTs now. He can bounce back and... Actually, he's got no bottle. He's just running Soul Ring. The Rock hits the stun, and the Orchid silence, and the upheaval slowing down Moon's retreat.
There are a lot of heroes here for this.
Okay, they're trying to fight this. Brewmaster split is up. They need an engagement. Maledict stun. Combining up, Roger will take a fall. They want a little bit more. Rock's been committed, so they've lost that big stun out there. A quick shrine up, and then see if they can get back on track. Ninja Boogie and Jabs rotating around the back, but thanks to that Observe Wall that's there, Ramses already knows. He puts down the web, commits the Orchid, but already Ninja Boogie too fast during nighttime to get away.
I do like how they're playing around this though, Virtus.pro. You notice that at bottom, no one was very patient about the fact that his team was going for the smoke. They committed the Void. I think if you just wait, Toby, they probably get that kill. They had a DD on the Lifestealer.
Yeah, they did.
They can be a little bit more patient about that, but as a result, he does get away, and now Ramsey's in a position where he needs to create space for the rest of his team because Brood by himself never really ends the game.
Yeah.
Like, you need your other two cores to be very successful.
He's going to have a harder time as well fighting against Mushi. We didn't see the Maelstrom build, but he went Battle Fury onto the Lifestealer, so at least they got some way to deal with these mass spiderlings when they attack.
I'm okay with this, but this might have been a game where I would have been alright with Radiance as well. As the Brew split is committed for this, they killed a lot.
Yeah, he actually got the entire army with that.
got like 1K.
It's a shame we don't get a team fight recap for how many Spiderlings just got killed in that one go.
Oh, look at Ice Ice Ice. He also spun the Brood up into the air as like a spite. Damn you for this game.
Just stay out of this, will you? Hey, Ice 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 has done this to many, many people before as well.
But that felt like a weird ulti to commit. Anyways, it's so hard to lock down this Brood.
And he's just itching for money, because with that, he actually got his Blink Dagger now. Like, he committed his Brew ulti, picks up his Blink Dagger, the SK just grabbed his as well. But the timing is roughly the same.
If Moon dies, Toby, the game is so difficult, because he's the only thing keeping Virtus.pro from just saying,
That's
okay,
a lot of
let's run down
rotations
mid.
coming to bottom, both Gyro as well as Omni Knight down here.
Yeah.
Okay, that did not escalate the way I thought it was going to escalate.
What they're trying to do is force the Tinker down there in that position, even if they take a numbers
Oh,
disadvantage.
fine Ramses. Blinking and clap, he got down the hill in time. I thought Ninja Boogie would be able to get the sentry ward down, but it came very, very late. They lost the vision. There is going to be one time when I'm not... Well, I'm not going to interrupt you again, Woods.
No, what's up?
I'm backing off.
I didn't feel that at all. You're good. Why do you lay down the sentry there?
He was looking for the Broodmother to move south, I believe. Or, like, back down to the tier 1 tower on bottom. Didn't come, though. And
Yeah, but you're
now
not
to the
injured.
air, Solo, silenced up, has the Rock available. They got Ninja Boogie caught out in the left, and there's nothing Jabs can do. The Rock is chasing him, the upheaval. Actually, doesn't really slow him down. Mushi's here to fight the call down. It'll only clip onto Mushi. The rocket will connect, and Ninja Boogie will finally
No,
die.
Mushi needs to
and
get out.
VP, they don't care how deep they're going. Jabs with a Maledict. The Rock will stop him instantly. No Death Ward damage. No one has to be careful, but then he gets so much more life, and there's nothing to infest to. Mushi had it off cooldown, but he could do nothing with it. So 2 heroes down, no buyback. Moon, it's time to come back for defense duty.
Look at the position that this Tinker's in. He wants to help in those fights, but he feels like he can't. Like, he feels like he can't move around the map because of this ever-looming threat of Spider-Man. Real menace.
This tier 1 tower is toast. They can't come and fight it.
Dude, this is so brutal. Virtus.pro, what they're doing is so smart. They're moving 4 heroes down at this bottom lane, and they're challenging Mineski. They're saying, guys, bring your heroes. See what happens. If you take a 4-on-4 fight, we'll beat you. You have to bring the Tinker.
Yep.
So please bring the Tinker. And if they don't bring the Tinker, well, they lose the fight anyways.
Oh, come on. Okay, support goodbye. It's just not going to be a Jabs game. All I can do is try and hide, and say we need wards now.
The larger problem at hand, too, is the fact that it doesn't feel like there's enough heroes that they can commit to kill this guy. We saw the Brew come in. They bring 3 heroes. The lockdown just simply isn't there. They don't have this hard stun. So Ice Ice Ice, because the Orchid that was so early purchased, he has to commit the Brew split very early on. And at that time, Ramses is already out because he moves so quickly.
Right now, Brewmaster's on the hunt. The delivery system for the Lifestealer.
Oh, no one's already TP'd out.
Yep.
They were pinging down there for him.
He's left, and Ice, like, you always see the position of Ramses when he farms. He's always on the edge of the cliff, so every single time the initiation comes, he just slips off the rock.
Yes, that is actually such a smart observation, by the way. Like, I'm glad you pointed that out, because a lot of people would say, like, why is he always farming in that kind of area? And it's because he wants to make it as difficult as possible, because the Lifestealer bomb, it's such a large commitment of the initial burst, and when you can't get over that hill, what can you do? There's no follow-up to that. And that's the downside of Mineski's lineup, is they don't have this lockdown until Tinker gets things like Hex.
Yep. And that's a long way away. Like, Tinker's still just desperately trying to find farm in the outer lanes. But in towards the mid, they initiate onto Ramses. They need more help. Mushi's just trying to mop up Spylings, but there was only one in that pack he was going for. Ice will drop. No split from him, and Mushi just rage T-pieces away. Nothing more to be done here apart from escape and then defend. But that is the upside, right? Like, Mineski, as long as Moon doesn't get caught, March of the Machines will still make pushing high ground insanely difficult.
He's really their main hope right now, and he's done a very good job of not dying since the laning phase, because if he did get dove, that one time they committed the rock to mid, if he was even slightly out of position, that rock hits him, Ramses can die for that, they get that tower no problem. But this is...
Now they have the Aegis on the Gyro. He is going to waste a little bit more time. He'll TP down to bottom lane, the call down. A quick blink is now up from Moon, and he'll be able to escape before no one can really do anything, as this is that. Really, are we rubbing salt into the Jab's wound? Just watching him die underneath his own tier 4 towers. It's like we're trying to influence every single viewer to think of all the depressing things that can go the way of Mineski. Let's think of the positive things. They can try and hold high ground. You do have some clearance from the lifestealer. You're building up more items, even levels. Ninja Boogie had good time in that bottom lane while VP were taking Roshan. The only person who has no hope is Jabs until he has the 4-staff.
Yeah, Jabs is... He's not having the most favorable game right now.
No. But once you have the Armored on lifestealer, this is also going to be a bit of a strength increase for him. But Mineski just have to have a really, really good fight from inside their base. Allow the Tinker space. The Blink Dagger will assist in this. The Aghanims upgrade will also make it difficult for the no BKB style lineup to continue just punch in. Obviously, you still got Repel, but blind them up, protect your towers.
Everyone's so afraid to farm, though.
Oh, I think Ice is dead. Even if he... Does that rocket hit him in time? 1 second? 0.5? 0.1 of a second before it completed. He'll have to split if he wants to survive, and he's going to do exactly that. Split himself out. No one tries to flat cam. They just send him up and towards the air. Meanwhile, in the dire jungle, I think Ninja Boogie was looking for some kind of rebuttal with the Tinker being close by, but they're fighting underneath the Radiant Observer Ward. So the Brewmaster split's going to wear off. He's hiding in the tree lines, and now... Ice stays in the trees on bottom. Jabs caught up on top. Roger and Pasha going to work on him underneath the tier 2 tower. And Ice is actually kind of stuck here for another 43 seconds. He can't TP home.
Yeah, that's such a brutal way to get killed every time. When you get spawn broodling. It reminds me of Alien mid.
Bushi, Infest. Quickly, pops back out again. Not a lot of life from that. Even doesn't get Roger from the Infest damage. And this is more than problematic now.
Yeah, Moon's got to get back now. They are aware, though, that he's at bottom. No one has forced his hand. But Moon has TP'd mid now. He is fast on the uptick.
Ice. Okay, yeah, there's no mana left on the Gyrocopter. He knows he's okay. Back to defense.
They're going to make this as brutal as possible for them.
Yep. But they're holding at least. There is one thing you can say about Mineski. They're not going to give it to him easily. They don't want just a quick GG in game 1 and move into game 2. They're going to make VP work for this series. Mineski won't give up that easily. However, I don't know if there's much you can do when you have Spiderlings and Golems just running at your tier 1 tower, tier 3 tower, and you don't have any kind of real clearance. Like, you blink clap, but that only ever kills off the small Spiderlings, never the big ones. Epicenter on the way in. They jump on mid. It's Ice. One charges are off, but he's still silenced. Didn't have split anyway. The Death Ward, the SK is going to get brought down. Managed to get that Maledict as well as Death Ward out, and right now, like, even Roger is worth 500 gold, so Mineski will take that. Like, they're 14,000 behind.
That's how you come back into these games, Toby, is you try to kill supports.
Yep.
Don't even kill cores, just kill supports. That's the beauty of Dota, is that if you're this far behind, when you get these support kills, you're still getting a significant amount of money, and that's where another comeback mechanic lies. Killing Ramses is cool and all, but...
They just infested underneath the Observer Ward. I think they also pinged out the fresh Observer Ward that was planted. So even this aggressive vision's not going to exist. So Night Stalker, well, he's got the Gyrocopter there, but it's all a trap. Pasha right behind him. Lifestealer is not popping out just yet. They just want the high movement speed of Ninja Boogie to get back underneath the safety of their tier 3 tower, or relative safety. And give more and more space for Moon to do his thing. I'm wondering if they even put... Oh, Pasha. Wow, that's deep. They fortify up. Here comes your silence. No easy repel. They'll jump out. They want him killed, but the Burrow Strike, it catches over on 2. Well played indeed. Pasha with the GA, surviving, but no one. Heavy damage from Mushi. They'll burn through the Aegis to the Immortal, while this poor little Tinker hiding in the trees. Ramsey's pushed in through the mid. Unfortunately, he's just trying to deal with the Brewmasters, just Brewlings, and this is just taking way too much time. He'll have to come back over the rest of his team, which is already suffering heavy casualties. Mushi tries to retreat once more. A double Maledict. Jabs. It's nice from them. The BKB for Ramsey will protect him, and the Orchid follow-up. Ice in trouble once more. He needs help somehow, but he's got nothing. Ramsey's with the double kill. He'll back up. And Mineski, upside is their racks are still intact, but they've lost their tier 3 tower, which means now Shrines start to fall.
They suffered so many losses right there. They did manage to defend the racks, but At that point, that doesn't even feel like a win for you, as Ramses is so out of control right now. Gets to dive the base at will with that BKB. And listing off his items seems to do my job. He's got 24 minutes, an Orchid, a Deso, a BKB, and the Medallion of Courage. No need for the Solar Crest. And on top of that, Toby, he's got 2,200 gold on himself. Not hurting for money whatsoever. Pasha's in a position now, too, where he's going to be very strong. Purge off the silence, make it nearly impossible for anyone on his team to die at this point.
It's a beautiful thing for the Broodmother to run forward. So they got a lot of sustain to sit on high ground. It's still becoming, I guess it's not even that problematic when they've both got BKBs on such long duration. So yeah, it's just like that. Like the laser's not gonna be great. Mushi rages up instantly, looking for some kind of opening. Paralyzing Cast will do nothing.
Scary.
He BKBs out the Infest, at least dodges the rock. But Witch Doctor, that was already a die back from him. Now they lose Lifestealer. Brewmaster jumped in just to clap and TP out. Moon forced into rocket spam defense. With that Ags upgrade, he's actually almost killing off Solo. Both earn wand, protection, coupling with the cloak.
And Moon's doing a good job of tinkering it up.
As much as he can. Pasha just jumps in, Brewmaster with the split outside. They're already fatally bonsling them up, and this is not going to be good. Ninja Poogie just evaporates so quickly as they attack in. There goes Chalaise, but no one doesn't care with the BKB protecting him. You don't have the same hit on Broodmother. 4 seconds before it's back off cooldown. And Tinker wants to go in once more, but he's got rockets on his tail. He can't get to the front lines and be a real influencer. The melee Rax has already dropped in mid. More rocket spam coming out. No one's burned his BKB. Ramsey still has his. But they're happy with what they got. 25, 26 minutes in, mid-Rax is gone. You're continuously picking off heroes, and there is no real rebuttal from Mineski.
What are they supposed to do? And look at the uptick in net worth. That is a very straight line up. 1 or 2 bumps in the road, Toby. I'm going to blame Roger for that.
Wow. Wow.
The first blood.
Picking on the new guy.
The first blood. And when he tried to pull the creep wave, that's pretty entertaining. But other than that, I mean...
Yeah, other than that, this has just been a really stable draft. But it's...
Oh, it's the Son of Doom build. This is Owen's favorite build.
Which
when
one
you
are we looking
go
at?
Orchid plus Nullifier, he calls it the Son of Doom build.
Why the Son of Doom?
Because it's like you're getting doomed. It's like a crappier version of dooming somebody.
I feel like Doom is being massively disrespected in this train of thought.
No, I like it.
The Spiderlings are attacking the tier 3 tower on bottom. I think ISIS is thinking about a blink clap forward, but only when the Martian machines are there, so at least you'll get some money out of it. But the amount of damage done to the tier 3 tower is just under 400 now. Life is difficult, to say the least. But Mushi's still getting more and more space. Getting closer towards the Manta Star, so at least the Orchid won't cause him as many problems. Allowing him to be a little bit more frontline. But there's so many more items arriving. Like, no one is rapidly approaching his butterfly.
Yeah, we don't even talk about no one yet because, I mean, he's had a pretty chill game, hasn't really had to do too much.
Yeah, it's like dealing with the Brewmaster most of the time. Like, just turns on Flat Cannon, and then all of a sudden, like, Ice is running with his Brewlings.
We talked about how this Brood isn't going to try to solo in this game. You need the help of some of your cores. He has created so much space, and Virtus.pro have such good core players.
Yeah, this is almost a walk in the park for them. Like, to mess up this draft would definitely showcase a lot of problems in the VP lineup. But as always, like, this is one of the big things, especially in Hamburg, that Solo was massively praised for, where a big advantage was already given to Virtus.pro before the Foghorn went off, just because they have so many critical things that just go in their favor. Now Mineski just try and get something out of this game. Like, there's no vision inside the base, so the smoke wasn't scattered out by Mineski, but the second that creep wave hits the mid, they'll know it. So VP now have Aegis Immortal and Cheese both in the hands of no one. And this wraparound from Mineski, do they give it a shot? Gyro's going to walk straight into them, so no one is the only target they can go on. They maldict early, but he BKBs and flat cannons. They don't want to bar of this. Ice to be the sacrificial lamb, tries to be 4-staffed away, but he gets Burrow Strike to control. Meanwhile, up on top, There it is again. Ramsey's adding the pressure. The tier 3 tower.
They should go bottom on VP right now.
They're already there.
Yeah, split it. There's no way that Moon can defend both, and you're so far ahead at this point. And with the BKB on Ramses, he doesn't feel like he can die. So you force Moon into a position right now. Choose.
Yep.
Which will you lose? It's a Sophie's choice situation, Toby.
But you want to go to bottom lane right now. It's not going to be nice. No one's still got the Aegis. The Rocket connects, and so is the Fatal Bonds on absolutely everybody. Minimal damage thanks to the Guardian Angel protection from Pasha. But the Brewmaster control is still decent, but it's all on the one hero. They're focusing the Aegis hero, who's also got Cheese, who's also got Butterfly. They can bring down Solo. Epicenter is now out from Roger, so say goodbye to Moon. No buyback for the Tinker, so no spam reinforcements. They're still losing top lane, and this really is GG. Mineski are locked into the back corner. They've lost top, they've lost bottom, they lost mid an age ago, and they really lost this game when the Broodmother got picked up, but they're fighting hard to try and survive. But the BKB only now gets committed by no one. He'll claim the last lane of Rax. Megas are up, Orchids are out, Ice will fall, Mushi will join him, and they're saying bait it out, but there is no more bait. There's no one to bite. Mineski are practically all dead underneath their tier 4 towers, and the GG call comes out. Game 1 of this best of 3 goes the way of Virtus.pro.
That was thorough. That was so thorough.
What a surprise. The VP boys are smiling beautifully. It's like, yeah, cold beverage. Instantly, you see him jump up.
Yeah.
Game 2, boys.
They're
Game
like,
2, same as game 1, right?
Ramses, go handle business.
Solo, go pick and Broodmother when there's no direct counter. But as the panel was saying, like, sometimes you just forget about this guy in the second phase. You wonder, like, what would have happened if that thought did pass through their mind, but for Mineski, it doesn't. They decided to go with the Tinker, instant counter pick out, and VP really just seemed to have the number on a team, which sometimes can be very random and hard to predict.
Yeah, they set the tone, though. Very interested to think what the panel has to say, because what do you really say about that game?
Yeah, you ran through practically everything we needed, but what more? What more can the panel actually bring to us as VP claim their victory in game 1 of this best of 3?
Indeed, a very chilled and laid-back Virtus.pro take game number 1, and it was a little bit brewed, wasn't it? That's right. We'll find out from our 3 panelists what their thoughts are. Alan, we'll start with you. You called it. You said it was going to be a possible brood. It was, and it worked.
I mean,
what more can you say after that?
Not much, right?
No.
Sometimes you just do forget about the
All right, well,
hero
we're going
and
to a
ruins
break right now.
Oh, okay. I thought
Sounds
you were
good to
serious.
me.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's not only just that it's a last pick brood in this game, it's that they actually didn't have the tools. With
Right.
Night Stalker and Witch Doctor, I have a couple heroes that I rate that are like the absolute worst at playing versus Broodmother at every stage in the game,
Yes.
and Witch Doctor is at the top of that list. And actually, you just die.
You do
to
nothing.
fighters.
Night Stalker is quite bad against
He's also
Broodmother
not too
now.
nice.
Used to be kind of good back when you actually would hit the Broodmother and then she couldn't do this whole walking over cliffs thing. I think one of the big things is if you notice the positioning of the webs here, look at the way they're positioned. They go into the off lane, dire jungle. This does a lot of things for you. First of all, it takes away the triangle farm away from the Tinker, which is really important. Limits his opportunities to be able to get those faster boots of travel to Blink into the Aghanim Scepter. And another thing is it prevents the aggressive invasion from Mineski into the Radiant jungle. That is much harder to be able to attain when you have like these Broodmother webs and you just naturally know you're going to get scouted through Broodlings. And then the final thing is because the fact that the dire jungle area is easy to be able to invade for Virtus.pro, the fact that the Broodmother is occupying this part of the map, and then in turn the top half of the map is just easy for Virtus.pro to be able to play around with their other 4, it just makes it difficult for Mineski to be able to have avenues of consistent farm. Like, they're always going to be threatened when it comes to map control.
I
they're
think
terrified, frankly, whenever they see those webs everywhere.
Yeah. I think the only thing that can go well for them this game is this Lifestealer, because the bottom lane as well, Brewmaster is having... He went boots first, and he's trying to pull the wave, and Solo's just there the whole time. Zone him, doesn't have a stout shield, can't pull the wave constantly because he's just going to get killed by the Warlock. So, Ice. He actually gets a decent timing blink, I'd say, after the massacre that happened down there. He gets like a 14-minute blink, but by then, the game was pretty much over. They actually have to make like these perfect rotations in order to hope that they can kill one of these cores, kill the Gyro, kill the Brood, but then there's also an Omni Knight you throw into the mix too. So it's just This game just looked actually so impossible
Yeah,
for
you,
Mineski.
you just get so disrupted in these fights by the GA. You think you finally have a kill, and nope. I don't know. I just look at it's one of these games that I just don't want to take too much from, because I still feel like Mineski is really good and on the rise. I still feel like we have questions about VP, but a game like this, you get brooded, it happens.
Move
Tip
on.
your cap and move on.
Okay, I agree, and no argument, I don't think, from the panel members. The big question is just ban it outright. Game on, just don't do it, because they can. These guys will do it again to you, won't they?
I think you don't ban it first, though. I think
No.
you ban
No.
it fourth, fifth, or
Yeah,
Sure.
you
can't do
certainly
it right away.
where you get into trouble is when you don't ban it sixth, when you don't have something to deal with it. I think if, we did see, it bears mentioning at Hamburg that Liquid and VP are the teams that if they hit you with a Brood and it works, they're not afraid to move it up in the draft, even to the point where
Yeah,
I
that
believe
is
it was
true.
Liquid
Yeah.
that
They
picked
did.
it first
They
at
did.
Hamburg, first phase. But I don't necessarily, Brood's a little different now. A lot of people are used to playing against her. I don't necessarily think we're going to see it that early here.
Okay. Quick final thoughts from the pair of you.
Their opener, I wasn't necessarily a big fan of the Witch Doctor. In that opening in combination with the Night Stalker, I think that Witch Doctor had this brief, very shining moment when we were running like a lot of like Tidehunter off lane and such, and we thought like, wow, this Maletix is really powerful against this tank core that's being run constantly. But I am more pessimistic about Witch Doctor, just because his team fight in comparison to, say, someone like a Disruptor just seems a lot less effective. And in combination with the Night Stalker, it felt like just a little bit too much single target opening for me, personally.
Okay. Vogt?
I want to see Moon playing Moon Hero. Sure, he's played the Tinker time and time again, but I want to see him playing a hero that can actually be active around the map, because I feel like if they get shut down on Ice Ice Ice, and if the supports don't have good rotations, they have to have someone who bring them back in the game. That being said, it was still, they got brooded, but
Yeah.
I do want to see them having Moon being able to just be like, okay, I'm not this hero that needs to 10 minutes to farm. I need to be able to just
100%.
make plays.
Okay, so the Priest of the Moon needs to bring out the Priestess of the Moon
Puck,
for game
bottom,
number 2.
active heroes.
All right. Good stuff. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we will have game number 2. Hopefully this time, they've learnt their lesson the hard way. Virtus.pro lead by a game to 0, and they're 1 game away from making the top 6 here at ESL One Katowice. So we'll see you soon.
Green pustule ones. That's worse, man.
Hey, you get like a tinkling, not good feeling as Mineski are gonna.
This is actually a really fun position for them. They're up on the high ground, waiting for Roger to come into their waiting pause. So they just attack him in. You've got already the Maledict level 1, not even going for the stun. They want the tick out, and they're gonna get it. There's nothing that will save Roger. Jabs will get the final hit, and even with the physical attack. Bounty runes.
Life is all about following a few simple rules. Get married.